This is the Sex Ed for You podcast, where research meets reality.
And we're your hosts, Lauren and Holland.
This is the podcast for people who want to date and have great sex that is safe, fun, and enjoyable.
We aim to empower our listeners to make informed decisions that lead to values-based living. I'm Holland, and I have a Bachelor of Science in Public Health, and I'm the Director of Operations here at Sex Ed for You.
And I'm Lauren, a certified holistic sexuality educator and the proud owner of Sex Ed for You.
Lauren works with individuals, partners, and parents to restore positive and respectful approaches to sexuality, pleasure, and relationships.
To work one-on-one with me, go to sexedforyou.com/free consult to request a free 15-minute consult today, or consider joining our monthly membership program, Hemlock.
Through monthly journaling prompts, an exclusive podcast, and virtual gatherings, the Hemlock Monthly Membership Program provides an accessible way to learn about sexuality and self.
It is a continual source of nutrients to help you nurture and re-access your sexuality and flourish personally for just $10 a month. To learn more, go to sexedforyou.com/hemlock today.
How was your experience with the health department?
I think the little ladies are the sweetest in the world.
It was so fun.
I thought it was really, from start to finish, enjoyable.
Yeah.
I almost was like, I did film some stuff because
Okay.
I almost thought we could have like a come, not like a come with me, but like a, what is it like to like go in and go out without, like, just for a normal checkup, not for like any reason. They all kept saying, you don't have any symptoms?
They do that to me too, every time.
No, I just would like a check.
It's because it's at the health department.
Exactly. But I think that health departments are accessible to most people everywhere.
How much did you end up paying?
I didn't pay anything because I have insurance. So they'll
Right.
bill the insurance and then they'll send us whatever insurance doesn't cover. But I ended up getting like everything checked.
Yeah.
Like they were like wanting us to do HIV too. I was like, sure, why not? No, it was really enjoyable. Everyone was really nice. And when you're checking all the things, like what types of sex have you had in the last whatever, it's like, vaginal, anal, penis, other. And I just checked the other box too. And because it's like mouth on, vagina on. And she goes, what is this other box? And I was just like, his body.
Just his whole body.
I mean, I was like, my mouth goes everywhere. I was just like, I thought like, if I was leading a tour of people through how to get one from a sex positive angle, like there's no shame at all, what would I do? And so I just tried to be almost so sex positive that it was uncomfortable. But anyway, Debbie, who like does the check, I was like, Debbie, how long have you been doing this? Like I asked everybody how long they'd been doing this. I got to know Debbie, Jennifer, the whole.
I loved Jennifer.
Jennifer was the sweetest.
Jennifer, she's the one that did the blood draw.
She did my blood draw and did my like everything.
Okay.
Yeah, she led me through everything.
Debbie did a lot of mine too.
Yeah, Debbie did like the intensive stuff.
Yeah, I talked to her about how my degree's in public health and all that.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is so cool.
Such a fun time. Jennifer, when they wanted my weight and height, she asked me to step on the scale and I said, yeah, happy to. I don't want to know the number. And she was like, fine. She said, just close your eyes, look ahead. I said, awesome. And I did. It was fascinating comparing trays though, because they didn't ask him to step on diddly squat.
What?
And they just asked him to say his height.
What?
Isn't that interesting?
Debbie?
It wasn't the same people. He had a different team of folks.
Interesting.
So anyway.
That is weird. They didn't weigh them. I wonder if it has anything to do with some of the medications they'll give women are not, they don't work past 160 pounds. Like Plan B is 160 pounds under. Birth control is that way too. There are quite a few hormonal medications
that you
that
would
they
literally need to
know
an accurate weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And typically they don't give those to men. So
You're so right. No, that's a really good observation. Okay, I'll get off my judgy stool.
I'm still pretty judgy about it, but like, it is definitely probably for medication.
And they didn't take him into, like, I went into like a triage assessment room first on the left when I immediately got there, that he didn't even go in that room.
Yeah, I went into that room too. And they like talked to you about your history and
Then they brought me back to another room.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I had come from the workout, so I'd forgotten to wear a skirt. But so instead, I like wrapped my hoodie around my waist. And
did they like inspect you?
I did a whole workup. Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, why was that? Yeah, because I guess I was just like, no, let's do everything. Like
for
I
that,
said,
they're
I
looking
care.
for herpes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or trick.
Trick. Yeah, no. And so they asked But they had already decided we'd do a pelvic. I don't know. Maybe it's because of age too. But see, the one thing, if I could coach them up, they could have done a lot more educating. They could have been like, you're 38, your last PAP was here. I swear they did PAP. I mean, they might have been swabbing for herpes, but that's the other thing they could have told me.
Yeah.
They could have said, okay, this swab is for.
Yeah.
Because my past ones that I've had, any type of pelvic exam, have all been with midwives. And they are so, Debbie was gentle and wonderful, and it was a plastic speculum, but still, like, nobody said, this is a speculum, this is what's going to go inside of you. No one said, yada, yada.
Yeah, I like to know the things.
Me too. Like, I like to know what the swab, like, why, what are you swabbing for?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
And why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. Because just no one ever tells us these things. I know these things because I did the research, but like not everybody knows or has access to that research.
So, I mean, I could coach them up on a lot of things, but no one was unkind and no one was affronting with any choice that I made.
I think I only ended up paying like $35 or something for mine.
Well,
so that
Trey
was
like, that was annoying. Can't we do like mail-in ones next time? And I was like, sure. They're just baseline usually.
Yeah, they're really limited.
Yeah, and you're not going to get everything. That's literally what I was saying.
That's so funny that he found it annoying. I think it's so much more comforting.
He hates bureaucracy. He gets his panties in a wad, and I'm like,
that's really funny.
And just
the health department is like the lowest rung of bureaucracy.
Well, like they need to know if you're registered to vote. They need to know all of these things.
Well,
and
because it's run by the government.
That's what he hates.
Oh,
I think if it was a clinic.
Yeah.
Like a corner clinic, he would do it.
Interesting.
I think it's that it's connected to the government.
I really love, that's like the only branch of government that I feel comfortable with.
I think they do good work.
I think they do really good work.
And I was there at the christening of that building, and so felt very proud of it. And like my friends all work in the women and children's industry and like a branch of that same building in the back. And I've known all of them, and they're really nice. And so I was just like, and it's clean and it's nice.
It is.
Anyway.
It smells good.
Yes.
Anyway, hello, friends.
Hi, friends. We needed to do an episode.
We did. This is like an emergency episode because Bridgerton came out
yesterday. And
I've never seen a TV show take America's women by storm as hard as Bridgerton. And the core erotic themes are so prominent throughout the whole thing. So I was like, we have to talk about the cornerstones of eroticism by Jack Moran. And then we also need to just like delve into how these can be. I think it would be fun to be like, how can you translate that type of sexiness into real life?
Okay, let's do this first. Are there scenes? I haven't seen the new season yet. You haven't either?
I haven't either.
Okay. From the first two seasons that literally pop into your mind right now. Okay, go. And then I'll share mine.
Mine's mostly the first season, though the second season is great. I was just mostly stressed about the prohibitions they were violating. It really stressed me out. So the first season, when he licks the spoon.
God. Okay.
When he licks the spoon. And then when they hold hands in the art gallery. And obviously their sex scenes are good too. But like those are the ones where I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like, holy shit. What are yours?
Okay. First season. That's interesting that you said you were more stressed out about the second season because sex educators everywhere were very concerned with her basically forcing conception. So we could unpack that in a different episode.
There's a lot
that
with Bridgerton.
Consensual, which I think that this will be so fun to tease out because remember, audience, the erotic, what titillates us erotically is not exactly and always going to be what is healthy and ethical. It's okay in fantasy. It's okay in story. Not okay in real life. So my favorite from season 1 are, is she on stairs or the ladder? The oral sex on the stairs or the ladder?
Oh my God, yes. It's on a ladder in a library. And all
so hot.
It's episode 5.
It's so good.
And like all of the house people are walking by and they like hear them in the library.
That moment. Oh my God. Yep. That one. That's my favorite. It's on a Rolodex in my imagination.
A pull from her.
Often. I'm like, need to get aroused. Stairs, ladder, library thing.
Like leaning against the ladder. Oh my God.
Okay. Calm down. And the brothers scene with the opera dancer or singer.
Yeah. Whenever he's about to go to the duel. That's a really good one. And he like picks her up and they slam the door.
Yes.
I just
their
rewatched
whole romance, that whole like side piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even like prominent, but I think it's like the theater piece, it's like always sticks out in my head. It's the forbidden, it's the violating prohibitions. But then season 2, they have sex outside that one time.
Yes.
The sex outside.
The sex outside was great.
It was really lovely. Really lovely.
So much prohibition violation in the second season. It was like so stressful.
Yeah.
I
yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Those are what pop out to me. Those were just like immediate. Okay. Let's do a review of the cornerstones of eroticism for our audience. In case you guys missed this, talking about this almost every single episode. 4 cornerstones are longing and anticipation, search for power, violating prohibitions, and overcoming ambivalence.
We love them all so much.
So much. Do you want to give an example of longing and anticipation?
Yes.
That shows up in Bridgerton somewhere?
Oh my God. It's honestly all of them.
Everywhere.
Every single season. But it's like you want someone and you can't get there. Like you're like just out of reach. Like the God's touch photo or painting, whoever did that, Michelangelo. It's literally that. Like you're just almost there, but you can't have them. And so it's like the holding hands in the art gallery when they're just so close to each other and they just grab each other's pinkies. And yeah, when he licks the spoon and she's just looking at him and she's like, oh God. And it's just this constant feeling of you want it so bad, but you can't quite have it. But it's literally like right in front of you. Yeah.
And we've been building up to season 3 with the whole Penelope story, like
since
we
season
have
1.
been longing and we have been following her story
Yes.
of longing and anticipation since the beginning.
Because she's been in love with Colin since day 1.
Like the Pen Colin scenario has been building, which is why I can't wait for season 3 because the writers have done such a good job with that one. They really have. Amazing. Okay. Number 2, I said them kind of out of order, so we'll do it in order that I said them. Search for power. So I always like to say that search for power, most people think of BDSM. Like they just always go straight to this. I'm like, it's not always that. It is often class differentiations or monetary or age or teacher student or all of these types of things. I see that all through season 2. Like this whole kind of concept of this elevating of her status, trying to get her. Yeah. Like, what do you think?
What popped to mind for me is that scene in season 1 where Daphne wears that white dress and is at the top of the stairs and she just has so much riz. She just like is like walks in all like, I am a confident bad bitch. And every single man in that room was like, yes, ma'am. And you can just see the power in her eyes. And as a woman, I'm sure you can recognize like she had that room in the palm of her hand. And that is power.
Or I guess the entire Queen storyline.
True.
Right? And talk about a beautiful background story.
I know, the
whole
Queen Charlotte. Oh my God,
thing.
it's so good. It's my favorite one.
The whole Queen Charlotte spinoff.
Yeah, it's my favorite
So
Bridgerton story.
But the way she utilizes power is fascinating. What's her friend? Lady
Danbury.
Not Lady Danbury. The one who's the Queen's good friend. Danbury. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, wait, no. Yes, Lady Danbury. Yeah, her powerful plays too. Interesting.
Yeah,
just interesting.
Watching her be married in that Queen Charlotte was very interesting. And then when they like had the plan for when he died, and they were like, it finally happened. It was so interesting. But she knew that once she was widowed, she like widowers or widowed women were so powerful in that time because they didn't have to have a man, but they had the money of and land of and didn't have to remarry.
You know what's interesting is some clients and I have been talking about the use of sex to control or manipulate others and how that is the actual definition of sexualization. And I think we see the use of sex to control and manipulate others a lot in this storyline. And that's why it's so fun to talk about them, because again, what is healthy in the erotic and in the romantical space, not good, not ethical. And you see that women knew, in order to get power over, I will use my manipulative womanly wiles. And we see it over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so hot to watch. And also, wow, yeah, this is why for centuries women have been accused of manipulation. And it's like, because that was the way to get power.
It just goes to show the importance of lifting women's voices in communities and in life and in politics and in just general social spaces, because that was the only way that women gained power for so long, for pretty much forever. So, I mean, like, I can't say I wouldn't have done it too, like 100%. And when I see it, I'm like, honestly, it feels justified.
Yep.
It feels so justified. I know it's wrong, and it's wrong in our context 100%. But like in those contexts where they were literally viewed as property, I'm like, yeah, I would have done it too.
And so good to see how it could be so hot in erotic fantasy.
Yeah.
I will have some people tell me, oh, I don't fantasize. And then we'll start to play into their favorite movies. We'll start to, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, I think that's really hot. I'm like, good.
That's great.
Here in this land, in the Sex Ed for You land, that is celebrated.
So celebrated.
It is so good to know, oh, that gets me like boiling. Like, I like this. I'll say it all the time that one of my hottest erotic fantasies is this affair fantasy, right? And that is because I get to have power over not only the person that I'm partnered to, but also the person that I am like tempting with my womanly wiles. Again, is it hot? Yes. Is it powerful? Yes. Is it anything I do in the normal realm? No. But it can still be hot. So I see a lot of search for power. That theme represented over and over again. Okay, what about violating prohibitions?
Oh my God.
Where does that show up?
That one is like the entirety of season 2. It's like he's in love with his engaged bride or engaged to be sister the whole time. It's wild. It still blows my mind why he didn't just propose to Kate, but like I get it. It's part of the plot. Violating prohibition. Oh, the kiss in the garden from season 1, whenever Daphne and Simon make out, and that's the whole reason they get married. That is a huge violating prohibition.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to me, I was like, why are they not allowed to make out in the garden? But
because he like defiled her.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Again, my favorite scene, with the singer, opera dancer, whatever she was. Yeah, that whole prohibition. Yeah. I think it's too, that men could go and do things like this and women couldn't. I think that like makes me angry, but also turns me on. And it turns me on that like this woman had that power over him. Such a prohibition. Yes. I agree with you. All of season 2 is violating prohibitions.
I love the opera singer and the seamstress. I love their plot lines of just how they're like just women of the ton who are entrepreneurs and doing their own thing. I'm like, when I see them, I'm like, that's who I would be. Like, I can fully see myself being that. Because I would not be able to. They even have a moment where they're like, yes, but we have our own money. We have freedom. Maybe we don't have love. And it's like they've given up love because all of the men want these like regal ladies. And so they're like, okay, we're never going to get married, but at least we have freedom. And I just, that trade-off, the fact that you had to choose hurts my heart.
What's the sister? Why am I blanking on her name? Who goes to the printer, who gets so active in...
Oh, it starts with an E. Eloise.
Her little relationship with that guy is violating prohibitions.
Yeah.
And also power, but like definitely violating prohibitions, going against the class system, going against everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that little storyline too. Love her.
I do too. And okay, can we talk about the queer baby?
Yeah. Is she
baby?
going to come out in this season?
I don't know, but I am
so ready.
Like her and Benedict.
Yes.
Who's one of the, like the second oldest son. Yeah. He's totally gay.
Well, and I think they like strongly imply this.
Strongly implied it in the first season whenever he becomes like a painter and he's hanging out with all the painters and having sex with all the people and threesomes. And I'm like, boy, Just a little bit
too. I did like those scenes.
So true. When they're like all like fucking in the hallways. Oh my God. My like public health mind is like, oh my God, the STIs.
All of the lack of safety. Whoa. Again, y'all, erotic. It can be such a turn on, and it's why it's so great. Fantasy is so beautiful because it is the safest form of sexual health.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting anyone like infected with anything, and you're not getting anything. Used it for fantasy, but oh my God, yes.
Just so many people.
So many fluids and so little barriers. So few barriers.
Okay, what was the last cornerstone?
Overcoming ambivalence. I think it's all of the pretending not to really care. That everyone in all of these seasons has to be like such a pro at for their own status, also for the process of this whole courting thing. I feel like all of the women play this whole like, no, I'm not that into you. And it gives people something to work harder for.
Well, Simon's whole thing in the first season was he was trying to be ambivalent because he knew that he couldn't give Daphne a family and wanted to end his line, which is, that is the most man logic. He's like, I hated my father, so I'm going to ruin my own life. I have the woman I love right in front of me, and she wants me, and you know what? No, I can't give you kids because I'm stubborn. And also I hated my daddy, so I'm going to just ruin my own life. What is that? What is that?
Okay, I would play devil's advocate because I think in that time, correct me if I'm wrong, if you got married, you would be expected to have an heir.
Oh, 100%.
Wherein if you were this bachelor for forever, no one, I mean, people would be like, you should have an heir, like you should get married and have an heir, but no one would be expecting it of you. And so I think trauma-informedly that he didn't have a good therapist.
Yeah, they didn't have those at all.
And that like his only way of not perpetrating the abuse done to him in his own little mind was, I know what I'll do. I'll never get married and I won't have an heir and things will be okay. This will stop with me.
And I see that. But
yes,
that's
the man
such
logic
a surface level. Like you dug no deeper than 1 inch. You ain't even hit soil yet. You're still in the grass. I
will say I know folks who've chosen to remain childless, and some of it is because of like generational things that have happened, and but they've decided it as a couple.
Yeah,
I mean, they really have, and have said, I know like this world's fucked, and so they've chosen for those reasons. So yes. I mean, it is. It's like, no, I will not.
It's just so
like,
silly.
It's melodramatic too in his world. Yeah.
It's just not well thought through. Like, I would get it if you were like having a great time being a bachelor and running and frolicking and like, you just don't want it. But like when you fall in love, you fall in fucking love, dude. Like you're holding this girl's hand in an art gallery and licking a spoon like you're licking a pussy. Okay. So you clearly want this. And like when it becomes simply out of a principle of the matter rather than because it aligns with you, like, come on. He's fully in love and being like, no. Which makes it very overcoming ambivalence because he is so anti.
The way they get together, this whole like, we'll make people want you by us, like pretending we'll do this whole trope, that whole ambivalent thing. Yeah, I think ambivalence is all throughout, but definitely in season 1 with their whole thing, which I think is why it's so hot to so many people.
It's my favorite. I love it.
What else? Ambivalence.
Colin and Pen. Colin is so not interested in Pen from like season 1 and season 2. I think he just overlooks her more than anything. And she sees that as like, okay, well, I've got to keep doing something to make him look at me. And I mean, she's Whistledown.
Yeah.
So
what's interesting too is that ambivalence of all of them, I feel like the reason people will hold on to it, for so long, is that it feels so good to overcome that ambivalence. So good. It's like a cortisol shot, dopamine's flooding, oxytocin's everywhere, that you will keep doing it for a long time. The flip side is it fucking sucks when it was true. Like the lack of care really just wasn't there. And I feel like with them, this is a thing we really get to see. Like we get to see her little heart crushed in season 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like crushed, crushed, crushed.
It's so sad.
It's so sad. Okay. On that note, are there any other examples of the cornerstones, not going well? You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Like how we talk about it's erotic, but it's not going to work really well in real life. I guess the original one he's engaged to,
Marina.
Yeah, her story doesn't work out too well.
And then and in the second season when he goes to visit her, that's really, he thinks he's going to like save her from this horrible, and she's so happy and she's like, I don't need you, like leave. That was such a weird episode to see. I was so thrown off by it because it's like longing and anticipation probably, because he's thinking about like, I need to go save her, I need to go get her, like
why does he come in the beginning? Does she
remember.
ask him?
No, he just like goes.
Yeah.
And she's fine. And she's like, I don't need you. And he was like, I was in love with you. Were you not in love with me? And she was like, I just needed someone. And that was heartbreaking for me to see for Colin. Mm-hmm. Because he feels like he was so more deeply rooted in that relationship. And she was just, it made me kind of not like her, honestly, the way she handled it. I get it that she just wanted him to leave.
Yeah.
Because she has a happy life and she ended up marrying someone that was like totally fine. But the way she handled it, she was so mean to him. She's like, nah, I basically just used you. And I was like, wow, okay. Ouchie.
Perfect example. Yeah, the longing and anticipation gone, kind of played out sadly would be, again, the engaged sister who was longing, was excited, was anticipating. I mean, that's sad. That's very
so
sad.
sad.
Her story does not turn out well.
I know really
she's
bad
like
for
super,
her.
like she blesses it. She wants her sister too. It's great, but
she's an angel.
That's sad. Yeah.
She's just an angel.
I'd be sad. Oh, I love the croquet scene.
Oh, yes.
All of their competition. Like the horse riding, the croquet, all of that. That's really hot.
It's really hot.
I'm very competitive, so I think that's part of it too, is that I think you can flirt really well through croquet.
And whatever game that you put in front of me, I can flirt through anything,
like,
but a game?
Ooh. Yes.
I can smack talk
and I can
way.
like win and be.
And that brings in search for power.
Yeah. So all of the game playing. Sorry, we got off track. Long anticipation got totally there. What about search for power gone wrong? What's the character's name who always has the crazy hats and the uptight hair?
The Featheringtons?
Yeah, the Featheringtons. Kind of their whole story. That was a whole search for power gone wrong.
True. When they went, like his betting habits.
That whole story is, yeah.
Yeah. And then they, at some point, I don't even remember. There was all sorts of weird stuff. I need to rewatch that part.
Yeah.
Because there was definitely like a side plot line that I was mildly confused by. Where they get like a tub of jewels at some point?
Yeah, because wait, doesn't she marry another guy? And then
Yes. Yeah, the mother remarries.
And then she like...
Because he dies.
Yeah.
I forgot that he died.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so she needs another husband quickly.
Yeah. And hopes to make money with it. Because obviously they have no dowries.
Cousin, or was it it's that cousin dude or uncle dude has to come, like, because of the times, right? Like he
to
comes
live
in
with them.
But he's hot.
He is hot. And then he's also they run a business, they run a fake business together. The jewels are fake.
That's right. It's all coming back.
Yep. And then they like trick the ton into buying all their jewels, and all the jewels are fake.
Y'all know this story. Julia Quinn, the author of the original Bridgerton series, is like a Harvard grad. And the way she got into writing romance novels was that her dad was always challenging her to write when she was young. And he would always say, like, write a book with this word in it. It was really fun. Like, they would have these challenges. And one day she was reading a romance novel, and he was like, why are you reading that fluff? Like, that's not real literature. And he said, show me one word that's in there that's not a word that's a word you don't already know.
Okay.
And she couldn't find one. And
So
she
she
was
wrote
like,
one.
damn it. And so she started to write romance fiction. And she wrote it all through her like junior year of high school summer and the summer of her senior year. I think got something published and then wrote her application essay to Harvard all about how like erotic fiction and romance fiction needed to be elevated and how it is really by women for women. It is one of the most magical forms of literature in the world. And that was why she got accepted into Harvard and has now become like literally one of the best.
That's awesome.
Isn't it freaking awesome?
That's incredible.
Like, had always been a writer, but her dad just was always challenging her, like, yeah, and level anything up that you do. And she was just casually reading a romance novel, as one should do in high school. And he was like, that's fluff. And she was like, it's not all fluff. And then I guess started to try to find something. I was like, damn it. Well, I'll write one.
I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
And now we're here.
Yay.
Shout out Julia Quinn.
We love you.
Search for Power Gone Wrong. Yeah. That whole story, it just feels gone wrong for sure. Why do you think the cornerstones of eroticism are so cool?
Oh. Okay, so lots of reasons, but the first one that comes to mind is it like the normalization of fantasy and kind of that need to belong that we touch on very often of like we all want to be a part of something. And every time I explain the cornerstones to a friend, they're like, oh, like it's not just me. Like, no, I really, and like they so quickly can be like, yeah, like that one is the one that I really, really like. And like, it's just, it really gives you both a sense of belonging and a sense of normalcy in the way that like, this is normal. Like all of us feel this way. We all have desires and fantasies, and it does a really good job of being like, here you go.
I love it for that exact reason. And you said something earlier, like how could we take it and kind of apply it? And I've heard lots of husbands or boyfriends in het relationships be like, oh God, Bridgerton's coming out again. Like, because now she's just going to be like disappointed in everything I do. Like, that's the type of level of romance that she's looking for. And I think that these men are missing the point. I think that women, gendered women, femme-presenting peeps, are loving the cornerstones in these stories. They don't want to go back to these times.
No.
They don't want you to be Simon. They don't want you to be these brothers. They are titillated by these erotic stories, by these cornerstones. And, you know, if you out there have a partner who's like, oh God, right? Here we go again. It would behoove you to say, A, these will turn me on because these will engage my responsive desire. Mm-hmm. These will put me in a sexy place. B, talk about how you could incorporate these at home.
Asking questions. Like, be like, if you are intimidated by the fact that your person is watching Bridgerton, why would you not just be like, what about it? Like, what about it titillates you? Mm-hmm. What do you like about it? And then you can do the whole implementing it in a normal way, which is so important.
Because I think that most listeners to our podcast are brilliant people, and they've probably chosen brilliant partners, like good humans. And so what I always like to say to people is, you chose each other. So this is probably like a really safe, healthy partnership. Yay! It's not going to be full of violating prohibitions and all of these naughty things. Instead, let's incorporate the naughty in the erotic space, because that still is really exciting and we should get to have it. So let's go through the 4 cornerstones again and talk about some ways that healthy partnerships could glean, your word, from Bridgerton and, spice up their own sexy times. So the first thing that popped into my mind, which I think I've already told this story on this podcast, but we've been talking about the cornerstones of eroticism. They lead to us finding and discovering our core erotic themes and what is really important to us. And I was obsessed with a film way back when I was young, like 90s, like late 90s, y'all, that they wore these like off-the-shoulder chemises in. Yeah, you know where this is going. So I bought myself an off-the-shoulder chemise from Amazon. I should wear it on the podcast sometime. It's just a night dress. And it's silly as all get out, and I feel sexy as fuck. I mean, it's hilarious. not that sexy. I feel sexy. So, I mean, step one would be to get something silky to literally wear at home. I was watching an influencer who got like this great big robe.
Oh, with, I want a
feathers,
robe. Yes.
And like that's what she's been wearing to bed in preparation for Bridgerton. So you could totally do something sensual like that. That is totally an abstraction. That is not a Cornerstone related thing, but that is harnessing the joy of it. Yeah.
You do. I feel like yours and Trey's approach to overcoming ambivalence.
It's my fave.
Is a good one.
So what Holland is referencing is if I am already in like an aroused mood or I want to be intimate that day and I've come on to Trey, a way that he knows he can get me even hotter is by saying, babe, I just really can't right now. I don't have any time.
He's lying.
He's lying. He has lots of time. And it is so hot. Even if we have like planned for sex later in the day and I come up to like kiss him, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. Like, gotta focus on this golf stretch.
On this golf stretch.
This is really important. And it is a conversation we have had very long ago that is a part of the play that makes the future sex hotter. And yes, so we pretend and feign ambivalence towards each other. We'll do it when we're traveling. Sometimes we like won't text at all and we'll see who can go how long can we go? Who will be the first one to break? And we know it's happening without even communicating. Like, oh, we're playing. And we will go so long and hard. And then when the one breaks, usually it's because of some stupid like practical thing too. I'm like, damn it. I got a text because like the exterminator's coming or something like stupid. And you're like, darn it. So ambivalence is huge because it gives us something to work towards. And that is, oh my goodness, we were talking about this in Hemlock the other night. Shout out the difference between pleasure and desire. Desire is moving towards. And so if there's nothing to move towards, it's kind of like, wah. So it's fun to move towards.
It is.
So that's overcoming ambivalence. What about longing and anticipation?
God, you can do it in so many different ways. I mean, that your little text thing is essentially both. Maybe telling yourselves you can't have sex.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a couple, just being like, we can't have sex. Or that part of dating at the very beginning where you haven't had sex yet and you're like, what is it gonna be like? And like there's chemistry when you're at dinner and there's chemistry when you're texting and you're like, oh my God, I just want to get in this person's pants. Yes. That is the best like adrenaline shot ever. That like the few seconds of very lightning imposed air when you're about to kiss someone for the first time. That is my most favorite moment in the world, is just like the few seconds in between.
To that note, I don't think we've talked about this on here. It's a really fun idea to plan a date with a partner and drive separately, arrive separately. And you can do this at any point in the dating experience, but we all know that giddy feeling when you're prepping for a first date. Holland told us the lovely story when she met up with Chainsaw Guy. We all came along and like, you found your outfit, you did this, we do our makeup. And the other person doesn't see that, right? The desire, the fun, the play is all in our body. The other person is literally a figment of our imagination at that point. And to you, that popped. Bubble popped. But if you've chosen a good person, why not get back some of that original longing and anticipation and meet separately? Ask your partner to put as much effort into it too. Maybe take a change of clothes to work. Maybe run by the gym to shower. There's so many people are like, that's so hard. Or you leave the house first. Let them come home after you. They can come get all their normal clothes, but you go take yourself to a coffee shop or to a bar and sit and read a book and sip a glass of wine until your partner comes. That longing for I don't know what they're wearing. Oh my goodness, like all of the unknown. I like goosebumps just thinking about it. Like that's the fun part. Sure, like then you could just have fun and see each other, or Trey and I will sometimes pretend to be total strangers and we'll see how many new questions we can ask each other that we've never asked before. Or we'll ask a normal question and listen with new ears as if we've never heard it. And when we did this, I think on our honeymoon, I was shocked at things maybe I had never told Trey like that. And it was almost getting to reintroduce myself. Like, how would I want to be known now? Like, what would I say about the type of mother that I am now? What would I say about the type of business that I run? What would I say? It was cool. And then, then you can kiss and stroke, like do little things, like little flirty things. Oh, it's fun.
I love it. I love it.
We all love that first part. And then it like is also like not stressful because you don't have to actually impress the person. Like you actually like the person. All the horrible stuff is gone. What about violating prohibitions?
Ooh, how can we implement
the
that?
Taking sex off the table was really good for that one. I mean, that one's good. Yeah.
It is a good one. I learned that one from you. So
clients the other day, I told them to do this. And I was like, she can break the rule though. Like she can break it. And next session they came back and they're about to leave. And he goes, you didn't ask us like how long it took her to break the rule. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he goes, no, ask her. So I turned to the partner and I say, how long did it take you? And she goes, that night.
Not very long.
Not long. It's so sexy to have a prohibition to break.
Yes.
Our sex educator said we can't have sex. Oh, watch me.
Watch me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another violating prohibitions one. I mean, I can't legally recommend this, but car sex.
Is it really illegal?
I don't know.
Illegal.
Surely.
As long as you're not like exposing yourself.
I have no idea where the lines of legality are with car sex, but I love car sex.
I'm going to look it up.
Because, like, talk about risky.
Yeah, it's the most risky.
So risky. And it's always so hot in movies, but it's so awkward and it's so, like, difficult. It takes a lot of effort to put it all together. You got to find a good place to park your car. You got to make sure your windows are tinted. Like it's a whole thing, but it's fun because you're violating prohibitions. There's probably a million other ways. Oh, is it illegal?
Virginia law makes it illegal to have sex in public, including in your car, if you have a reasonable expectation of privacy and believe you are in private. You are unlikely to be charged or convicted. However, if you do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy and someone believes they can see you, you could be charged with criminal offenses.
Don't do that.
Well,
do it
when you believe you have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Figure out what that means to you and then figure out how to argue it.
It would expose you, the occupants, to indecent exposure prosecution. Yeah. And possible police inquiry about the legitimate or not purposes for the sex in the car.
So we cannot recommend you do this.
No jurisdiction in the U.S. has a law that specifically states that it's a crime for people to have sex in their cars. Well, because of course. So if you have property, if you have a garage, go in your garage and have sex in the car. That's a hot idea. I'm totally on sex in cars, but they've been out of public eye. I'm not. Yeah. It would. So violating prohibitions is fascinating because there is a tipping point. Anxiety is an aphrodisiac. Anxiety actually is very arousing. There is a tipping point, though, where it's no longer fun.
Oh, absolutely. So maybe like a closet. Have sex in a closet.
Closet sex. Semi-public is what I like to say. Like, no one's going to walk in on you. And also maybe you could pull the clothes over you
and maybe
very
not
quickly.
Like full penis and vagina.
Yes. Not where children are around and maybe use common sense.
Be smart about it.
Yeah, please. Yeah. And please don't say
we do not condone any of this.
Do not.
This is all hearsay.
Well, because here, y'all, okay, like there are harmful sexual behaviors, and to say that there are not would be to mislead you. Sex absolutely is joyous and glorious and could harm if young people were exposed to this before they were developmentally ready, if you got fired from your job because you were in the walk-in, like use sense. Yes. Sex is not secret, but it is private. And unless everyone else around you is consenting, it is not consensual. Neighbors don't need to be saying that. No. Search for power, and then we got to wrap up because I have a client. Yep. I mean, that's so fun.
I mean, like the games, like go play pickleball. Go play pickleball and beat your partner.
Beat your partner.
And be like,
just that.
Ha ha ha. And you can make bets on it too. I love making a bet on a game.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. A sexual bet.
If I win, you give me head. Or something like, or if I win, I get to tell you what to do for an hour. or something like that. Like a really extended 3-minute game.
And if I win, I get to choose where we have sex. If I win, I get a bath and you watch the kids.
Yeah.
If, make it fun, right? And then I choose how we're going to have sex. It could really, use power.
It's so
especially in a playful, erotic space. Yes. And then watch it heal your nervous system so then you have a more normal, healthy relationship too. What's so funny is we need these things. Pleasure is the antidote to pain. We all want exciting lives. And sometimes life is boring. So escape the ordinary through the cornerstones of eroticism.
Yay.
Thanks for coming to this emergency podcast.
Yes, it was a very serious emergency. I will link all of the things below, including Bridgerton, and the books, and a Cornerstones of Eroticism download that you can download from our website for free.
For free with a code.
So the code will be Bridgerton. Yeah.
I was hoping she'd say that. I was like trying to send you telepathic things.
The code will be Bridgerton, and you can download the Cornerstones of Eroticism for free, and you can kind of see the examples that we have on there and real life applications and all that fun stuff, and just have a good time. There's some journal prompts.
And let us know.
Yeah.
Comment on the YouTube video, comment in the Spotify. Let us know, oh my goodness, I see this cornerstone in this aspect of the story. Yeah. Or especially season 3. If you watch season 3, don't spoil it for others. But
maybe just put spoiler alert.
And maybe we'll do a follow-up podcast once we've seen season 3 and break it down. Remember, these are opinions and also formed thoughts based upon research and our lived experiences. Please take what you like, leave the rest. You have a right to informed decision-making. Please know if all parties aren't consenting, it is not consensual. And the things that we suggest in here, please take with a grain of salt. We have lots of fun, but we encourage you to do your own research and form your own opinions and know what's best for you at all times. You can find us on Instagram at sex_ed_for_you. Yeah.
If you would like to request a free consult, you may go to sexedforyou.com/free consult and give us some reasons why you'd like to start sexuality education, and then we'll approve it, most likely. And what else do we do?
No, that's all. Oh, you can join Hemlock.
Yes.
Hemlock. Go to sexedforyou.com/hemlock. Use code BRANCH to get 1 month for free. We are talking about Emily Nagoski's newest book, Come Together. And it's been great. We had fascinating conversation this past Tuesday. We do a gathering once a month. You get a podcast. You get journal prompts. It's fun. You should come.
I'm yawning. Sorry.
Colin's exhausted. We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.